founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the word destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings to you for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the third destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Siddhartha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Where no supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth. You paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds. Winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having repercussion, the founder having born on this earth, the field of merit and qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one gone to vastness, I prostrate. The purity that breeds from full attachment, the virtue that breeds from the sublime reality. To the love that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated from false show the path to liberation. The whole who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the light within, to you I prostrate. Homage to the supreme ruler, homage to the eternal refuge, homage to the great Savior, to all created without homage, to all created respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms atoms in all aspects, the supreme faith I make homage. Do not permit any non-virtuous actions, perform any virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Da, a visual liberation, a divination, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, secret beginning in the sun. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of Lord Sea, subdue the 12 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturb by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. To page 15 for the Heart of Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to Vihara Triple J. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on the massive Lotus mountain Himalaya. Together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the contemplation of the practice of phenomena called the path of perfection. Also at that time, the bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the path of perfection of wisdom, and beheld those right advocates also as impure, impatient, envious with the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra, said this to the bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara. How should any son of the lineage of great who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shall any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom to look upon the likeness, correctly and repeatedly performing those 5 practices also as impure and perfect nature, perform this activity Form is also compositional factors. Likewise, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no experimentation, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no physical form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no quality. There is no I, and so on, up to and including that I, and no mental consciousness of it. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, ceasing, and harm. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no unattainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell on the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond terror, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Kayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, the bodhisattva, mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Therefore, through concentration and commitment of bodhisattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara say, well said, son of the Buddha. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice profound perfection of wisdom, just as you indicated, even if it comes from yourself. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety along with the world of gods, humans as sure as the Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Page 25 for the short mandala.
Om Banza Beme A Shu Om Banza Beme A Onye Zayi Zaji Om Banza Rege A Che Jare Rizu Re Jevo Re Ra Sha De Ba Ba Lo Zambo Le No Pala Anda Meni Nuda Luva Ngaya Da Ngaya Xie Yuan De Da Lan Jun Da Meni Da Meni Je Renpo Je Re Mo Ba San Ji Xie Du Ji Je Ma Me Ba Ye La Da Ka La Renpo Che Renpo Renpo Che Tomo Renpo Che Renpo Renpo Che Nejo Rinpoche, Dajo Rinpoche, Nibe Rinpoche, Paye Pumba, Nye Ma, Chewa Ma, Lu Ma, Ka, Medo Ma, Dobe Ma, Nanse Ma, Jeja Ma, Ye Ma, Dawa Rinpoche, Do, Chole Namba, Gebe, Gense, Uza la da me benjo me zon sopa ma cawa me wa san shi yi de te da jin je cawa dan gyuwa je me bande lama tamba je wa de ya lama ye wo san tong da ji chan chen me chen a ne te chen me sun je sam mo xu wei 金刚瓦吉多 Jesus. Jine Jan Hasan Manyu Nange Tadan. Senje Danje La Tu Sewa Chembe Gone Sedu Sudu Sa. Zanje Jadan Zaji Chanan La Chanjo Bado Dani Jason Age Chichin Jive Sonan Je Dola Benje Sanje Tubrash Sanje Jadan Zaji Chanan La Chanjo Bado Dani Jason Age Chichin Jive Sonan Lolo Benje Sanje Dovare Sho Sanje Chedan Saji Chanan La Chanjo Bada Dani Jas Dagi Chujin Give Sonan Ye Dolo Benje Sanje Kange Denjen Dowa Jung Gawa Mewa Jimewa Chewa Mewa Damewa Wa Mewa Dume Tade de Mendi Jime Dowa Niji Shinema Zowe Sanje Mananje Tamba de la Chaze Lo Tunye Jesu de Jovela, Chichi Sinze Kanje Dendrugun, Chana Bema Dinze Jesula, So de Zoshin de Lundrush. Wandenza Lama Rambo Jen, Dagi Ningara Bema de Jone, Gadi Jimbe Gone Jeson de Goson to Jengo to Zed, so. Ah, that. The Sangma. Teri Lam Rim Gi, Sungju, Kazane, Jinda Gozu Gishomade. Kawashida Chong, Sene, Sangmalo. 아니 궁싱바를 또 중요시하래 나란히 교시라 총.
I'm glad that we have gathered again to take part in this Lam Rim class, to listen to it, to reflect on it. I had a break. I hope you also had a break. I really enjoyed my break.
네, 먼저 the online 얘기도 해.
Are there any online listening?
The sounds okay, sounds.
Yeah.
Sounds good. The med 치치스는 걸 건든 내가 치스는 나가면도
Oh yeah.
치 첨보스라.
Yeah. Just so that Still up the Jana Digge. Test Digge.
아,
Depends Digge.
되우데. 어야, 당아서 꿀론 꼼지 잡라 상말라 꿀론. 당부 꿀론 꼼지 잡다. 다리 미르된 렘바들 양자 람림 아니 최라 터바치기 중앙에다 니 겨상보 이스르와 대리야 배가랑 겨상보 중송 제장에다 최 님반데 님마들이네 제제 니 셈바상로 셈상로 조제다 수수 셈디 최단 가저 데이터가 지치기 대치 등에네 진단이기 선배 꿀론
So first, initially, we should set a good motivation, and that motivation should be that how fortunate we are to be human, and in that context, to listen again to this teaching. I'm fortunate to be able to do that. So with that fortune from today, I'm going to do the best to have the altruism of a good heart and to mix my mind with Dharma the best I can, to connect with Dharma the best I can. So, coming to this class, listening with that motivation.
아야다 겨상보 아님 드링님한테 네 남림기 추 돈 드링 지기 추원 인기 추원 삼기 추원한테 배야고 중송 사람님한테 탄단데 맞이 차송 야고 중송 그거 상무인 삼지 가오금스러.
So now rejoicing that one has the fortune today, again, to listen to hear and reflect on that Lam Rim. Hear, you think, how excellent, rejoice in that.
다 먼저 람림 수디 람이름 수수 셈디 배 랑가로 가지 배 야고지라 당고요래 제잔디 랑가도 사게다 먼저 삽다 야고 따고로 네 구글 맵에서 가장 야고 말로나나 사자 로가든지 제기도 제잔다 디나시 그 삽다로 가지 마 소고요래 제잔 람림 당보 줄을 제발라 디다 된다는 저 최와 제야디 다소 셈줄라 독바디 제야게 탑란janjan 시기 요인자 다 당고 데마제 공원도 수수 아니 ngo만어 장만 ngo시바치 네 장만어 구리만어 어두저 고고요. 다 개지시 디게 숨디 개좀 쉬우차고요. 뭐시버시 남지 뭐시버시. 아니 장가디게 된 만어버시. 장가대야 구름 맞고버시. 딘레지 토네마 아니 곰자베데 람림 샤르콤스네.
Naro.
람림 샤르콤 셈나마 디젤레데요 섬 당보투스마 아나zo 무가나 nga pesha dige yes thanga jagra o dinashi mugana la dige ye pholon dige ye milapha dige te go ye pha te chu de nga mugana na zero re sha ngu de talme migden la shargira o dinashi zamda ji gore se.
So, in that respect, the graduated path we are studying is about one's mind. It is a path or like a map for the mind. Similarly, when you are going to an unknown destination, you might put the directions into Google. Hopefully, it's unmistaken and takes you to the correct destination. But if the instructions are wrong, you could be misled. So here we have to take care at the outset that we are on the correct path, because what we're going to generate is inside our mind. In our mind, we're going to produce things in our mind. So then we have to be clear about three things: the entity or the nature of what we're doing in terms of the subject matter, then the enumeration of it, the number of divisions and so forth, and then the order. The order should not be mixed up. So in that sense, we're able to do like a glance view or a broad glance view of the overview of the entire path to our goal of Buddhahood by being able to say, okay, so first this comes, then this comes, and this follows that. This is why we have to be unmistaken at the outset with regards to the nature of it, its enumeration and its order. Okay, so therefore it is like when we have a bank account and we're always looking at the bank account, seeing if we are in the profit or the loss, and to whom do we owe what, and we're always watching to see that we don't go into the red. Eyes on the bank.
어디 레스다 남는 샤르콤 나야지 셈나마 디젤 다디 제장다 당당한조 니 기부 충무 남림 기부 딩 남림 기부 첨배 남림 쓰다 로장에로 다 당보 아니 람지 자와 신이 된지 아니 때내 로시다 저림 바스 대전이 두고요 다 람지 자와 신이 된지들 어저 단다 람림 되되나는 마시자 두고요 인자네 당보 dunji nangara susu ta tsawe lama zor juwe ni ta ja domba shaji tuwa ta ni ngo di tsawe lama yinba ni namba di ta ja domba shaji tuwa yang susu tsawe lama namba rang tanda tamay namba yowa takarang kumna di kare kumna di la chirang zi sawa khashe ina tanda ngay la tinde kumja yungu mara di la domba chum nende hagu urwa nende zi dunji nangala yo tenpa ina di sim ju chinlap juwe la pendo yorwa ni kumja na 펜토 메시 뇌지 게마레스로 tomba jomdende komna ne tin chinlab jong ya tinde yore chedan sawa du zya tomba jomdende ji dyungin nangala ye dende kusung chitwa de mingone rayi teje amshagina ko chinlab le ngoro da shinda jona tinde shinda da ha고 ro kesu ngama 소신 komda 망고 she사로 ndi shija chije 어두스지 dunjinangala singiti pemani mantawe tingdeone ngo zawe lama yimbala zawe lama ra komshana de zawe lama yimbala namba daja tomba shaje to yin tenje de jikjigwo komna de ya be choju susuji khazullo shomshomge susuji lama yuzeya komshana de tu sije dekshi komsho asra.
Now we should meditate in the following manner. Of course, one wants to do the glance view of the entire path that we have just mentioned. So what does that encompass? What we are studying, what we are training in are these three scopes or capacities: initial scope, medium scope, and vast scope. capacity practitioners on the path to our goal of full awakening or Buddhahood. And as we are following the condensed Lam Rim, we know that the two divisions, like the root of the path, the taproot or the foundation of the path, is correct reliance on the spiritual friend. And then, having relied correctly on the spiritual friend, how the students are drawn or trained sequentially on the path. Okay, so this first part, the correct reliance on the spiritual friend, one has to, those that are familiar with it, can visualize in the space in front the kind root Lama. Entity is, in reality, is your kind root guru, but at the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha, so in actuality Shakyamuni Buddha. So we have done these visualizations many times for the older students. You'll be familiar with that. And then for the newer students, you can just visualize Buddha in the space in front, as is depicted here in the statue. But you can think very strongly, it's not just a statue, that Buddha is present here in person. And by doing this, it cannot harm. One only gets benefit. One only gets the blessings. So then, on the other hand, those that are familiar with petitioning the merit field can visualize in the space in front, as was mentioned, in a variety of means, either just simply one's kind root guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha seated on a vast throne, a lotus, moon, and sun discs in that position. Or you can also visualize surrounded by all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, deities, and so forth, whatever is suitable for you. But one should meditate like this for a while.
That's the Indian team. When my visit, and this is a lula, my team, Luganaza Taria. And it seemed you mix egg, that's an Indian zage. Lamixe Lunga is on the Diritos of Hajan, Sim, the Namdo, similar Dama, the Tenjo Tomapa, changing Tason, Tenjo Asra.
So now, in dependence on having visualized the Guru in front and Buddha, you are blessed by the qualities. The qualities come down from the visualized Guru and Buddha in the form of light. And in dependence on such visualization, any physical sicknesses of body are dispelled. In short, obscurations of body, speech, and mind are removed. Particularly any discursive thoughts and worries mentally are dispelled.
Oh, yeah, that in the Tenshimang and the Lamrim, young wisdom. Whenever Chijime Tene Digilexation, then the Departo Denshas. Tene diji lezo chinyi wa tende le wazawe zawa ne lamde shinyi ne samdan jo zen tepato kone maaji chik tuyanda kalel ra
Kisla shloka.
Tene maaji me shinyi dinzu kosa ku tuyanda
Ale shini goso dore. So now we should,
kalel ma losh na tir
yeah, we should recite the verses as is in the text that we have before us. You should have the hymn of experience up to correct reliance on the spiritual friend.
yeah
So to read slowly. Oh, okay. I bow my head to you, foremost of the Shakyas, whose body is formed by 10 million perfections, virtues, and excellence, whose speech fulfills the hopes of infinite transmigratory beings, whose mind perceives all objects of knowledge. I prostrate to Manjushri and Maitreya, whose emanations sport in innumerable universes, assuming the responsibility of all the conqueror's conduct. You are the supreme sons of the peerless teacher. I prostrate at the feet of Nagarjuna and Asanga, ornaments of Jambudvipa, renowned throughout the 3 levels, who compose commentaries in accordance with intention. To Tikam Kara Atisha, holder of the treasury of instructions that gathers together the important points, completely unspokenly, of the paths of the profound view and vast conduct. Excellent lineages descending from the 2 charioteers, I prostrate respectfully to the spiritual teachers, eyes that see all infinite scriptures, who with skillful means, moved by compassion, clarify the supreme entryway for the fortunate traveling to liberation. The stages of the path to enlightenment are the excellent lineage handed down from Nagarjuna and the Sangha, crown ornaments of the wise of Jambudvipa, and banners of fame resplendent among transmigratory beings. This instruction, the king of powerful jewels, fulfills all desired aims of the 9 types of beings.
It is an ocean of glorious and excellent explanations,
gathering the rivers of 1,000 fine scriptures. Through it, you can realize that all the teachings are without contradiction.
understand all the
Scriptures as instruction, easily find the intention of the conqueror, and be protected from the abyss of the very faulty conduct. Therefore, this supreme instruction is relied on by many fortunate ones, the wise beings of India and Tibet. What analytical person would not be captivated by the stages of the path of the 3 types of beings? Contemplate the meaning of this method that gathers the essence of all the scriptures.
even teaching or hearing a
Single session definitely
gathers great waves of the assembled
benefits of explaining, listening to the holy Dharma.
oye ta dine diji lezo chinyi wa sashto di sarsum dena dine shinyi dinzu shito di sarsum jo
So now the verse on the top of page 5, we should do 3 times because this is how to devote correctly to the spiritual friend. Rely correctly and with effort in thought and action on the holy spiritual friend, the teacher of the path, and the foundation perfectly bringing auspiciousness for all excellent collections of this and future lives. Having seen this, do not give them up even at the cost of your life, and please them with offering of practice just as they instruct. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Rely correctly and with effort in thought and action on the holy spiritual friend, the teacher of the path, and the foundation perfectly bringing auspiciousness. Excellent collections of this and future lives. Having seen this, do not give him up even at the cost of your life. and please them with offering, practicing just as they instruct. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am of liberation, will also practice in this way. Rely correctly and with effort in thought and action
on the Holy
spiritual friend,
the teacher of the path, and the foundation perfectly bringing auspiciousness for
all the excellent collections of this and future lives. For having seen this, do not give them up, even at the cost of your life,
and please them
with the offering of practicing just as they instruct. You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way.
I, who am seeking liberation,
Will also practice in this way.
Oh yeah, that is ma de gejelak village on the com jab shot is ra.
No.
There's a dekatula, she needs you got to come this jabra.
So now, as Geshe-la, gives input about correct reliance on the spiritual friend, we can reflect and meditate.
She's on the Lamji Ngoshiva, Tangmano, Kurimatuba. Yelada, Malanga Dunyaji, Givation Kogoyorwa. Should I in the Chidang Lobjon Legi in Gudara? Tig. Tended to get Tawa did a gigan was demadin Rale Yores, Gigan de Adelane, Sambeto, but and Jovet and Basiva, Sambed in Zulane, Tavajawata, good into Megone Tavajawata. The Yua Tavajan Zudilla. And then Jovet in Zu, and then that's all Hedgeshu de any. Samjoni you gonna dinzu Lamrim Dunk, kissing my Shebanashi, Masamata, and then on mix a Hedgeshu, Kashi Kashi do it Chuba, that Chubas in Grisini.
Susan Yamlin.
My Labja Jashava, the Yamni, Laglentariat.
Okay.
Did that do it Chuba? Chot Guvari, Shazan, and Chizun Laman Yamlin to that yesterday. That's all Nichizun Jambayan, the Zorju, Lamanamji. Tangazan, the Cherumachin Zorju, Lamanamji, Yamni to that Zevre. And then around Tandus to Koa, Dungig Negale Taro Dunye, Tidagi Yang, Chenashi, in Chiranzunanchi, Shinji, Togo Julikio, Najinjingala, and the Julajewa, Jerochi, some soda, or those Shin, Kujapu. Tima Samluna, de Stana Yawera.
So, reflecting on the spiritual friend in terms of correct reliance, because it is the spiritual friend in terms of what you produce in your mind, the path, is going to show one the entity of that path, its nature, the correct divisions of it, and the fact that it is unmistaken. In short, you need to rely on a spiritual friend for Dharma purposes, for spiritual growth, but even relying on a teacher, for non-Dharma purposes is needed. Well, here, as it says, we rely on the spiritual friend correctly through our thoughts and our actions, or through thought and deed. So initially through thoughts, by cultivating the faith as the root, by seeing qualities, and then latterly recalling the kindness of the spiritual friend. This is how one discriminates by thought on the correct way to rely. And then reliance with one's actions, with one's deeds, as is expressed. Pleasing the Guru with offering one's practice as the Guru has advised. So that is the best offering we can make to the Guru, is our practice, just as they have advised us to do so, following the advice. And then, just as Lama Tsongkhapa did that with Manjushri, following Manjushri's advice, and with a view to being liberated from the unenlightened state, the suffering premise of samsara, getting out of it. Just like that occurred, we should reflect that, please, kind Guru, please bless me to be liberated from that suffering situation of samsara, just like that. And so therefore I'm going to rely for that purpose, just like that, to that end.
근데 듄라야다 먼저 듄지 단다 너무 셔져도 저주에도 검사여로 대다군이마 외세트 수수주 신이든 주고 똑바져라 개 파제지 파 다제 수수주 신이든 주고 똑바지베 진랍 주소 되는데
Independence on one's petitioning, one's faith and meditation from the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha in the space in front of you. Light rays come down from the holy body and fill your body and mind. So any obscurations that stop you gaining realizations of Guru devotion are dispelled, and latterly all the qualities of correct reliance manifest.
아야 다드네 남지자와 신이든 주디 독세 다 subject 마동자 셔라 다 저런저 투저요나 네도 유 람링게 subject 시샤제 마삼다는 야고요 람링 subject요 시샤도나 다드네 니와 데네 로치다제베리 마서바 람지자와 신이든 주시 데네 로치다제베리 마달라 안디제니 대베데는 닝불렘 베주고와 당 닝불렘 정모스로 제산다 대베데는 닝불렘 베주고와 슬라데 말한저 밀류된들라다 대화서는 저 밀류된데 최치하게 상무단야게 누가 여러봐서 어디 네 단다 요지 지고래서 어디 시행고요라
Now, that essentially is looked at the essence of correct reliance on the spiritual friend. And if you have the outlines of the Lam Rim and are able to follow them as is laid out in the English in the great Lam Rim at the back, then that would be good to go through those topic headings and be aware of them. So what comes next after the correct reliance on the spiritual friend is how the students train their minds in stages. So this is talking about firstly, being able to take the essence of being human and being exhorted, spurred on to do that, and then how to actually train. So firstly, recognizing that we are human, and with that opportunity, making life meaningful.
제산다 델야니 대화제 저주스다 그래서 뭐망아서 도인바 네 다 대화제 저주 미콤베 내려야 타로서 대화제 저거랑 정아 신정아 어디서도 삼았다 아니 대저 니가 왔어요 들어봐 배거는 니고 단유거는 니고 오거는 니고 유거는 니고 어디서 대지 삼았다 잠깐다 말아서 밀류된 저런도 싸워도 있는 건데 밀류된디 배나 장애거는 니고 어디 삼다네 오도
맞아요.
춘주 점블링 난게 춘주 소자 가져요래 장로 오지 배나 뭐라 무토마라고지네 장애자 돼요 말아 먼저 미 빌렌딘 학질래요 말아 아니 대나네다 최 진이 뉴뉴쇼레도 알아 몽고시오지 점블링 요러서 이제 되기도 하던데요 강에서 동에서네 알아서다 최기 삼단지 밀레야 편도 지기 뉴뉴쇼레도 어디다 된대가람 류된된지 잡아디 배 그거 왜 보이 이 삼제네 가오고모로
So, in order to make use of being human and be kind of spurred on to do so, the first step is to recognize the attributes that make up a perfect human rebirth. We have been through this, but just recapping, the 8 freedoms and 10 richnesses, free from the 8 unfavorable states that would prevent you from practicing spiritually. And secondly, the 10 qualities or opportune circumstances, 5 personal and 5 environmental, that allow you to practice Dharma. Now, perfect human rebirth, we should come to understand its rarity. It's rare, and it's where we can understand it. Its rarity in terms of example, entity, and number. So for those people that are new to this teaching on being human, if we just look at the number of humans in this world, 7 billion, whatever, Animals and insects way outnumber those. But just coming back to the number of humans in this world, how many humans in this world really striving for spiritual growth? You know, the majority of humans seem to be making trouble. How many of them really have an altruistic motivation that are trying to help others? They are quite few in number amongst the 7 billion. So just reflecting on that number, we come to see that the perfect human rebirth is rare.
tanda di tsigido tewe 이신 올레 tendanyo 다리 잠시 인식도 어디 tsi기 살숨죠 tewe 이신 올다 이신 오르 무진 세디 당고마 베닝 발라고 누구들 명람잖아 수술라 가르고와디 강보거나 강바 누구거나 누구 초보거나 초보 된데라게 열어서 거라 직딩 다딩사이나 돌로 빌런 카시지유나 아니 강바거나 강바 뭐더거나 뭐다 고야 디게디 직딩베 고야 디게드라 그러다 딜레야 아니 밀르딘디 하고레스로 밀르딘디 딜레장 하고레스로 제가 덴델르딘디 네 니에디 다리 잠시레스디다 가두이네 디니 말해서 왔더라 어디 직사숨 jo더라.
Now this first two lines of this verse on page 5 that allude to the rarity of obtaining a perfect human rebirth, we should read 3 times together. What it's talking about is previously in texts previously there was a type of jewel you could find that if you wished upon it, you could obtain anything that you wished for, be it a house, be it clothes, friends, wealth, whatever one wished for, one could get it. I guess these days it would be the same if you had $1 billion. If you had $1 billion, you could acquire a nice house, clothes, friends, wealth, whatever you wanted from that.
Money friend.
Sorry, girlfriend.
Money friend.
Oh, money friend. Sorry, I lost it. Money friend. So anyway, compared to that $1 billion, the perfect human rebirth is way more precious than that. Plus, the perfect human rebirth we have gotten just this one time. So we say those first 2 lines 3 times together. This body of leisure, more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, is found at once, though difficult to obtain again. This body of leisure, more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, is found but once, though difficult to obtain again. This body of leisure, more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel,
is found but once, though more difficult to obtain again.
어야 다 곰잡는 가 루딘 데지 니와데 아니 추수즈 만도와 치기 스러와 이제 지와라 라만레 진질라브로스 센두니 곰션조디 밀로 친라베세트 먼저 루딘데 망보시직 단다메와 돌아도고 여러 다도서 당보심라테 인데네 룽하게 자와슈 안두체는 가서다 메즈 돌아도고 여러 어디 만도야지 계획 파제디지 봐도 텐조 텐던데 버치도야게 아니 심줄이야 누가 진랍지 줘서 텐제는 곰데스 잡쇼스.
So now reflecting very strongly in dependence on those what one has recited, that you have obtained it. You have obtained such a human basis, and one is not going to waste it a bit, not even for an instant. And reflecting like that, again, from the Buddha, from the spiritual friend in front, light rays come down to bless you, to be able to realize the import or the value of being human. And in that sense, we will have wasted a lot of our opportunities of being human a lot in the past and have obstacles as a result of that. So now removing any obstacles from our mind that will stop us realizing the rarity of perfect human rebirth are dispelled as the blessings come into us.
Hoya, ta tewe dina. Nyingbu lembe chi tu gu ba se de re. Ngazo milu den ngaranzo. Ta di sansan la semna la ya jik du nge dan semba su su ta nga da be kyo yin sam kang do da semba ma shum de ba ro. Tinde khadu la. Wadi tenjo tunji de gomna ne sem ya seng de. Sem seng de ya la tenjo tunji ya go yo res ro semma pa shum takwa de yong zo. 미가시 스스스스라 다니는 예외를 넣어서 녜다 전도고 말해 나다 교보이 마 계심에 세대도 어떤 데게 삼로 연예돼서 대조든지 삼다나 아니 세미야 생도 나 미르된데 스톱샤 아 미르된데라다 다 가리나직 지도고도 삼다야도 뭐 튼둘레 레바 야고도 먼저로 국업도 뭐 망보직 찬행 먼저 류된디 지다 야고도 하던데 지금 알아 요와데 가도 있네 배 야고이 야고레샤다 딩원행에디 임파 전다여버지 제국도 스러 어두세도 셈나라야 가와다 생토서로 심야 심는 누발레야라 심야
right
심마 빠숑된저디야 심슈기여버서야라다 답람 디텐저된제디 야 삼무당고레스러
reflecting in this way one then will take the essence of being human and make it meaningful. There are times when we get suffering situations mentally, we get upset, perhaps even downhearted. In that sense, it's very important to reflect. Although I'm going through this mentally, I have a perfect human rebirth. And if you reflect in this manner, it can lift you up from that sense of being downhearted. We can also see this is the third type of laziness, which is the laziness of putting yourself down. Could even be downhearted or low self-esteem, thinking that, I couldn't possibly do such and such, I'm not good enough. But if you really think in the context of Buddha Dharma, how rare it is to be human, this is a countermeasure to that. And it brings you up. So you will think in the following way, although I'm going through these difficulties, I am human and I have a type of intelligence that I can use to discriminate that animals do not have. So you can reflect like that. And then what that will do when you're going through difficulties is give your mind a joy and potency and bring the mind up again. And this reflection on being human is the best method to bring the mind up if you're down.
단도 더 대강을 손로 못 다여러 가는 줄 산지 리기요 들어 가시 미신다 시부종 아종문도 사는 정말 선제 탐제를 산지 리기요도 직벌이 냠벌 어느저 미인바 직벌에서 당용 삼도 못 다여도 알아 이제 삼도 가시 수수수수 마당하다 켄싱 말해가 조버레 당아 용 말해서 된데 삼단 산지 리기요라 상말로 산지 누바요다 릭스나
Now this potency of being human, you can reflect that you have within you, Tathagata, these seeds of Buddha potential or Buddha nature. And it's not like you have it and other sentient beings don't. All sentient beings equally have the same potential in that regard. So if you ever get to thinking, I'm poor, I couldn't possibly achieve it, or I couldn't do it, or I can't get my goal, just reflect back on the fact that innately you have this Buddha nature. That's very good.
디네다 니와 닝보시다 렌주들라야 아니 람치라 녜바 께와당 닝보 렌주고스르바 대외들 닝보 구바당 닝보시다 렌주스라로 닝보시다 렌주들 람치라 녜바 니바스 람치 고된샤들바 규추 람치 녜바 제와들라니 규숨지 람지 렘베고네 아니 티베 균제된 바스로 규숨지고네 티베 태양카인바 대다 티베 균제 gyūsum lam tamje gyū chungu gyū ting gyū chimbe lam jirin bia nala ya ane du du yor was ti tiwe gyunze garasana ane sungra tamje joje tamje dizen tena du du yor esra 상물로 되는 뒤로 그랬어. 아니 찍네 또 고바 가래라위나. 아니 먼저 주충을 남림 맞아봐 주딩다 주첨별 남용으로 그 베이직로 들어. 가시 남상 강래야 토가를 삼는 단계여라. 니 강바 증마 디 야보면은 강바 잡나. 하고 잡다 로르고라. 근데 뭐야 치디. 안 람림바 숨도 되베 내가 되게 되는데스로.
So then these stages of training the student's mind in the path, one has the general overview of the path of how to train in the stages, having relied on the spiritual friend, and then the going through these stages individually. So in a general sense, we know that the path, we have to go sequentially, step by step through it, the initial, medium, and vast capacities. So what is the purpose then of laying out these three stages? It is that it would be unmistaken to grasp at the vast capacity initially, because you wouldn't be able to get there, or if you got there quickly, you may fall down from the top. Rather, it is that one has to go through each of the steps individually and understand how they work in context with each other.
어다 닝볼린 중어야 될 시에나 아니 주충우다 두메람 기름바 주딩다 두메람 기름바 주충부 다 주충우람 가서나 아니 체디게 아니 엔드지고 두메라지 겨치마 모두 함이 고마 텐드니 체디가 다제 체디게 되니 체디를 뢰당고 체디 뢰당스도 체디 파샤 신나지를 도스가 말아 먼저 체디게 말아서 다 점블링난 게 미자주 굽주 고구 굽주 고구다 차 굽주 고구 체디 바지래 자주 굽주 고구당 차 굽주 고구 다제서 최부다 보지면다 가버려도 체디가 알라신 그런 상마 체디가 되냐 상당 당하다도 저러다와 저는 가지 미치지마 이 상당히 이겨라
Now, having heard that, how the students train in the path with a broad overview, but then when it comes to actually practicing each of these three scopes, initial, medium, and vast capacity. So initial capacity, what you're doing is turning away just from this life, closing the door to difficult migrations or unfortunate rebirths, and for the purpose of obtaining another fortunate rebirth as God or human. So here, you're not giving up this life's happinesses out of fear, but out of kind of relevance of the benefit of again being human to practice. And really, if we're honest, 99.99% of people are consumed only with this life, with very little view or understanding of future lives. It probably is, isn't it? If we're honest, 99.99. So having said that, to find a pure Dharma practitioner, very rare. So I'm probably in the 99.99, and you guys are probably well on your way to good future life rebirth. Anyway.
제가 체디 상로마다 겨치마 텐데니 가고래다로 나라서 체디 라마게 오데 체지마 바죠 체디 라마게 오데
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Leaving aside this life and being able to focus on future lives. All we have in our view is this life, it seems.
체디레 고르지코 체디가나 대라마게 버지 대강에 라마리 버지 대고다다 근데로와 제가 다 이내 근데 스타미스스 삼단단 최제 삼단단지래도 다 제가 체디게 저치에디 저 치면을 펜베시디 인삼단나에 지하여라고 시시나로
Okay.
밀류된 배낭한줄 루된 소야라 칼라고 요래 네 지 강바든 되면은 군가 차지시야 내가 요래 강바고 요래 안 둘러 도메거는 민 정모이나 차는 시도더라 어디 저에 니 겨치마 추르비야지 등의 류드 초고요 대치되는 예 배샤 소고요지 그는 상당단지라 대치되어 요더라
So in that sense, difficult. But, however, there is the practice of Dharma. There is the practice of Dharma, and it is attitudinal. It is an attitude. So the connection between this life and future lives, one can actually make this life as kind of like a, how do you say, use it as a working basis for the well-being of future lives. For example, you have to take care of your body, perfect human body that you do have. And to do that, you need to eat. If you didn't eat, you would die. And if you didn't have warmth in winter, you'd get cold and so forth and get sick. Or if you didn't clothe yourselves well enough. So then you can really think that one is doing all of these things for the well-being of one's future lives. And that way it becomes a cause, not just for this life, but for future lives.
아니 삼로든 대단한데 내 류디 쳐야 돼. 내 류디 잡아줘야 돼. 심지 신라 펜버드비야 치디 뒤에지 등에 류디 쳐 류디 다워야 보자. 류디 다워야 맞잖아. 심지 신라 펜도지 파샤. 심지 신라 강에 전부 쏘고다 알아. 어떤 데 삼담바이나야. 세디 류 쳐야 같이 삼담바되게. 전주 쌤네 닝제기 줄라 차줘야 된대. 삼로도 안 단지. 최세야 돼. 최세 쌤기 주가 당하고 제장고 저 가셔야 최시에서도 인지미지 타워도 아니지. 그냥 신나지라 리드 하드라우즈나 데 말했어. 최시에 단단한 지금 여와 다가라. 니베 삼로 주어다는 봐. 최신라 펜도드비아치디 삼로다. 당바이나 최다가라래서 봐.
So once again, it is an attitude of mind that one is working with, context, this life, future lives, even context, benefiting sentient beings. So you can motivate that you're going to preserve your body well and sustain it well so that you can work for others, so that you can benefit them, so that you can be altruistic. So if you're able to do that, then sustaining one's body and life becomes an attitude of bodhicitta, the attitude of awakening. And in that sense, when we talk about Chö or Dharma, what is happening is the mind is undergoing a change or transformation. You don't necessarily have to become a nun or a monk to practice Dharma. You practice where you are with what you have. You don't have to go to retreat. But what one should do is wherever you are, change your attitude to be one of benefiting others, the altruistic mind.
이나야 그 자와치 아니치 리트를 도톰나다 약슈르다와. 야한테 약슈르다 도톰나다 인데인다.
Having said that, if you can be ordained and become a monk or nun and do retreat, best. That is best.
이추 어다 삼로단단지래도 와제다 나란저 네 삼로디 숙천부 요나로와 셴변기 셈디 숙천부 요나 아니 내가 가르쳐위네 심라로돌리아 당 내가 채워디 된다된 버치야 먼저 미루된디 된다된 버치고라로 된다된 버치사야디 아니 지 로신라 펜도시야들이 메시지 텔라하고 지야므로 산제기 통카레 심제기 통시야로 산제디 니 셴드윙 치디 산제기라고 산제니 가르쳐고래 심제인라 펜도시고요 제가 알아서 뭐스 탄다 심제인라 펜도시고요 펜도 제와디 수수 지 배샤 베네레가로지 지기유나로 레가로지 지기유나 상하로지 나이나 랑가라이나 무가나이나 맹가나이나 겐소카이나 저랑서 도와 최저 도와 당란 내가 지기유나 내가 가르치기유나 베나가이나 기지시고요 나 메리나 기주치고를 간 지기요와데 신라 펜도 치도 임바 이 당고에서 그 계지시도 밀 펜도베로 아데 신라 펜보 바식 치도 임스로 띵에 내가 이 띵아 라저라게 요래 nga lega men mi chik sigre thi de nga lega chin ne ti ge ngol la phishe pe phishe le dus le go ro ti me che 신변 코네시드 lega chin 아니 개요 말에 내가 가리나 간저 인지민지 내가 시도 배셔 연구 내가 더 연구 말하고 배셔 근데 펜 밀레 펜토벨 내가지 밀레 펜토벨 내가지 인신제 아니 제신제라 고노 넘버 타고 있잖아 대 된다 된 거래 매주 된다 된 거 써야 돼 제가 텐조 된다 된거 써야 돼 두스 중으로 다된 간저 정말은 저 초응어 간라야 정말로 내가는 지금 요래 되고 고노인데 삼만난다 지로 봐 rewa mewe tone rwa, rewa mewe tone ne, tsu nge paadi chen nga tsu di reagari siya sanga mewe tone, penpa bashi sambe, ane chitubi ina chue dhagarang rada, ane mezi tone chue che, mila pen tona chue chana mezi tona denpa char nukura, tse de mugu ane tse chima le pengi yungurwa, tse chima mugu ane tawa tenya, ane te mugu sanje kuma tuwa ya, pendo yungu yorwa, duus che ne, ta tsawa di paru diduk seya la samla tang, 제네 대치 등의 류된디 된단 데 맞히기 와 메제 된단 데 맞히기 대치도 메제디 된단 데 맞히나 교치마 요요레 삼단나 교 중의 제 차용고도 아니 삼단단지를 두다로
So, in that sense, then the method of the mental attitude we're talking about in terms of practicing Dharma should be one of the beneficial intention, and if that is strong, then whatever we do we are brave around that, it has meaning, and it makes one's perfect human rebirth meaningful because you're benefiting others. Why is it that Buddha became awakened? Only because he did it for sentient beings. He was able to directly affect and help sentient beings. So therefore, for us, if what we do directly helps others, there's nothing other than that practice that is Dharma. The very reason Buddha became enlightened was because he did that, altruism. So therefore, whether one is working in whatever faculty, restaurant, office, shop, whatever you do, some are working in the Dharma center. For example, I'm saying something, someone's translating. If that is done with a beneficial intention of altruism, that becomes Dharma, not out of peer pressure, a kind of selfish attitude. So one needn't do a job just thinking of money. One can do that job with an attitude of bodhicitta. So therefore, if the attitude is only for this life, and then there's not much hope of that bodhicitta. But if one has the attitude of bodhicitta, then whatever one does in this life will benefit. And that, of course, will be able to benefit one's future life. So that brings us back to the initial scope. Why? Because the initial scope is also concerned with others to some extent, because you want to remove their suffering and you're concerned about others' welfare. So therefore, if you make your perfect human rebirth meaningful by doing that, then automatically you'll be human again, and the small scope will be attributed, covered.
예, 답대스 망보로 차루면 돼. 아니 다 치워 기부 충분람 좀 줘들라 아니 텐조 대회 때인데 아니 녀와 집을라버려. 다 지나들라 치워 믿어와 마공배 님이다 공배 편연다 치워 검주다 근데 삼다야로 다 되나네 개지슈딩은 저 아니 자오숨 균제고 타제오 숨세데 마 삼나다나 페진 다가르나라 뒤도 다 딜레야가 말이야. 자오숨사데 아니 먼저 류된데 ngewa chiwa sam namjingi me chiwe si chuma do kangi me pemba said. Odire ro.
So now, then having contemplated from the initial scope, the first level we train in is being human, its rarity. But also being human will not last. It is impermanent and one will have to pass away from this world. So then meditating on death and impermanence is important, the fact that we're going to die. So one has to have a way to approach that reality of death. And there's a lot to say around that, but essentializing it down, as is stated in the Lam Rim, the three roots, the three roots, the three reasons and the three conclusions. Well, if we're looking at those three, 9 reasons. The 9 reasons all up. If we're looking at those three roots first, the fact that death is definite, and secondly, the time of our death is uncertain, and finally, the only thing that matters at the time of death is our spiritual insights. Those are important for us to meditate on.
다 ngoyen de ni ro ang zo shini ngeba chiware ni chiwani ngeware ane namji ngemeda yimbare redo khadu shi hago yemendo ta samlo ta yuna men de chiwese ni khare phendugo study samda ro da khanda 제가 디네걸로 다 지금 벤체바 다가랑 펜도 그러면서 딜레하고 펜도 지에요 말더라.
Now, of course, well, probably we are with the idea, we get the idea that we're going to leave this world, we will die. That second one, the time is uncertain. It's good to reflect on that a lot, because when it comes to the actual time of death, when it comes down to it, what really matters is your benefiting heart.
어디로 단다 디나라 디송도 니가 지글라 난게로 단다 서와 미류된데 니에가 지글라와 난게로 나시레스 최대 삼내 직된 저하고 분바 차와신다는 제가 된데 인자서 그런 아주 미류된데 니에가 지글라와 베나 난게로 나시 난게로데 축스 가디나 요 말아 난게로데로 나 등산로 공부시라도 난게로데 로 정말 직 재송에서 로시다 얼마도 배도 로시우자는 뉴질랜드 로시다 제문도 로축고 제 통화만 성해들 아 뉴질랜드는 로축고 제 토마스 별로 로시우 축으로 잡았던 거 같아 로축으로 아 뉴질랜드 로 정말 지금 뒤셔 있어 기브뱅날 주의들지
So as it goes on in this verse of being perfectly human, although difficult to obtain a human body, it finishes quickly as lightning in the sky. Having reflected in this way, realizing that all worldly activities are likened to winnowed chaff. So here it is definite that our perfect human rebirth will end. It doesn't last long though. It is like the flash of lightning in the sky. We can't seem to see too much lightning in New Zealand. We used to get quite a bit in Tibet. I used to see lightning all the time with rain and storms, but I don't seem to see much here. What's happening to the lightning here? Where is it gone?
이제 뉴질랜드에 미래서 계직만 멤버임으로.
Maybe New Zealand people are just there like a flash of lightning so fast. Maybe they're permanent.
아야, 다 제가 다 찍도 마 된신으로 두주시라면 디 찍 한마디 마 제단시 된신. 디 지라 처음이다 데네마 삼는다는데 저는 둔다들 데데스 람림 어드마 방제 람림 좀 subject 데네마 데데 삼는다나 야고요.
The following verses we'll now recite together, and during the week, if you could contemplate the topic outlines for initial scope of the Lam Rim, that would be really good. So relying on the spiritual friend, perfect human rebirth, death and impermanence, that would be good. So we'll start from this body.
Yeah.
This body of leisure, more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, is found but once, though difficult to obtain again. It finishes as quickly as lightning in the sky. Having reflected in this way, realizing that all worldly activities are like winnowed chaff, you must take its essence day and night. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Although there is no certainty that after death you will not be reborn in the bad migrations, the three rare sublime ones will definitely protect you from this fear. Therefore, steadfastly take refuge in them, their precepts. Think well about the results of black and white actions and depend on the correct practice of that to be adopted and that to be rejected. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Until you attain a body with pure characteristics, you will not make progress in your practice of the Supreme Path. Train in the causes for becoming free from those impurities. Since your three doors are defiled by negative actions, downfalls,
and stains, it is particularly important to purify karmic obscurations.
therefore continuously cherish reliance on purification of the four forces.
You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation,
Will also practice in this way. If you do not put effort into contemplating true sufferings, the faults of samsara, you will not develop the wish for liberation.
if you do not contemplate
True origins, the steps for entering samsara, you will not understand how to cut the roots of samsara. Therefore, rely on weariness, definite emergence from samsara, and cherish
the knowledge of what binds you
to samsara.
You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way.
I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. The generation of the mind, that is the central post of the Mahayana path, the base and support of great waves of conduct, a philosopher's stone transforming all into the two collections, merit gathering infinite virtue. Having understood this, heroic children of the conquerors maintain deeply the pledges of the present Supreme Mind. You, the perfect, practice in this way.
I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way.
Generosity is a wish-fulfilling jewel, satisfying the hopes of transmigratory beings, the supreme weapon cutting the knot of miserliness, the activity of the children of the conquerors that strengthens courage without dismay.
And the basis of being renowned in the
10 directions. Having understood this, the wise rely on the excellent path of giving away their bodies, possessions, and virtue. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Morality is water cleansing the stains of faulty behavior, moonlight dispelling the hot torment of the afflictions,
as splendid as Mount Meru
in the midst of the 9 types of beings.
It gathers all transmigratory beings with no threat or force.
Having understood this, holy beings guard morality correctly, taken as they do their eyes. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation,
will also practice in this way.
Patience is the finest ornament of the powerful, the supreme of all hardships, counteracting the torment of the afflictions. Against the enemy, the snake of hatred, and thick armor against the weapon of harsh speech. Having understood this, cultivate the armor of supreme patience in many ways. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, also practice in this way. When you don armor like effort, steady and immovable, the qualities of scripture and realization will increase like the waxing moon.
All your behavior becomes meaningful, and whatever actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired.
Having understood this, the conqueror's children put forth billowing waves of effort, dispelling all laziness. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way.
I, who am seeking liberation,
Will also practice in this way.
Concentration
Is the king ruling the mind. When placed, it is immovable as Mount Meru. When sent forth, it engages all virtuous objects. It induces the great bliss of a serviceable body and mind. Having understood this, the lords of yogis rely continuously on the meditative stabilization that destroys the enemy, distraction. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Wisdom is an eye seeing profound thusness, the path eradicating the root of existence, a treasury of qualities praised in all the scriptures, and renowned as the supreme of lamps, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Having understood this, the wise who desire liberation generate the path with much effort. Practiced in this way, I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. One-pointed concentration alone is not considered to be able to cut the roots of samsara. Wisdom separated from the path of karma abiding will not avert the afflictions, no matter how much you analyze. Upon the horse of steadfast karma abiding, with the sharp weapon of the logic of the middle way, free of extremes, destroy all mental fabrications grasping at extremes. With vast wisdom analyzing in this way, increase the wisdom that analyzes thusness. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. The meditative stabilization achieved by one-pointed meditation is not enough. With the individual investigation of proper analysis, generate the meditative stabilization that abides firm.
Having seen this, understand how wonderful are those who endeavor to accomplish the union of karma abiding
and special insight. You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. In meditative equipoise, emptiness is like space. In post-meditation, emptiness is like an illusion. Through meditation on both and wisdom are unified, whereby the perfect conduct of the conqueror's children is praised. Having realized this, the tradition of those of good fortune is not satisfied by either path alone.
You, the perfect Guru, practiced in this way. I,
who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. Having generated the common path necessary for the two supreme Mahayana paths, occasional and resultant, rely on a protector, skillful master,
and enter the great ocean of the classes of Tantra. Then, through reliance on the complete and perfect instructions, make the attainment of your leisures and endowments meaningful.
You, the perfect Guru, practice in this way. I, who am seeking liberation,
will also practice in this way. Due to the virtue from explaining in clear words the perfect
complete path pleasing the conquerors, so as to familiarize my mind with it, and to benefit others of good fortune, I made the prayer, may all transmigratory beings never be parted from the excellent pure path.
You, the perfect Guru,
practiced in this way.
I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way.
I used to do here.
Is it 33?
Yeah, page 33, prayers of dedication.
No, this is Mandela, short Mandela.
Oh, sorry.
Page 31, short mandala.
Bujin Jungji Medo Zhang, Re Ra Lin Shi Nyen De Jen Ba Di, San Ye Xin De Mi De Ewa, De Ge Nanda Shen La Chu Pa Sho, E La Ma Ta Ze Ra Din Xin, Nang Ga Tin Le Cho Ju Ge Wa, Lo Sa Dien Be Tu Me Sa Sum Ji, Zhe We Mu Se Da Do Ne Gyu Ji, E Da Gu Ru Ren Ne Men De.
Page 33, prayers of dedication. Due to the merits of these
Gyawadi
virtuous
Nyude
actions,
Da Lama
may I
Sanje
complete
Tuja Je
attainment
Tuwa
of
Je Jama Le Wa Di Zalo
and
Kuwa
lead all living beings without
Cheche Sinja
exception
Rinpoche Ma Je Pana Ji Chi Gyawa Nyamba
may the
Me Wa
supreme jewel-bodied
Kone
teacher
Kunde Pe
enter
Para
the
Sho
horizon
Chan Se Hotan Shui Shan
and may
Hotan Shui Se
happiness
Ru Gui
arisen
Sa
not diminished but increase. Whatever slight positive potential I may
Gyawa Je Se
create,
Da Je Se
I
Hotan
pay
Je Zo Wei
homage
Chen
offer
Jo
in
Chen
knowledge
Bu
fivefold. dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. May the King of Dharma, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all the conducive circumstances be complete. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, speak imperatively kind, Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech. May all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Save with the snow.
Sunadi yeda jeze ba yoga ma jaya na sibe azu le do ba je kare re ba be shi na pe na de wa ma de che ve se le ba de ti ju shu ju zo ma shu de na
May all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the subduous moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels, saying with myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. By relying on the 2 accumulations of myself and others in the 3 times, may the teachings of the